Okay, once you've got a function input into the calculator and graphed, there's some things you might want to look for. You may want to know what the roots of the function are, or you may want to know where relative maximum and minimum values are. So I have a function input here. You can see it right there, x to the third minus 3x squared minus x plus 2. And I have it graphed on a window of -5 to 5 for x and for y. Alright, so you can see the shape of the function right here. Now, this function has 3 roots, so I might be interested in finding 1 or 2 or maybe all 3 of them. Let's do this. Let's concentrate on finding this root right here. Alright, you can use the same technique to find all of the roots, one after the other. So we're going to use the functions that are in this calc menu right here. So we go second, trace, and that brings up the calc menu. Now you can calculate a value, a 0, a minimum, a maximum. If you have 2 curves, you can calculate the intersection points. Those are all the ones we're worried about. Alright, so I'm interested in calculating a root, a 0, for this function. So I'm going to tell it that I want a 0. And now I have to pick one of the roots. And the idea here is you want to bound the root. You want to go to the left and to the right of the root to bound it. So I'm going to move my cursor, since I want this root right here that looks like it's pretty close to 1. Alright, so I want to get a point to the right. Alright, so here's an x value to the right of the root. And I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to move the cursor until I see a negative value over here. So I know I'm to the left of the root. And I'm going to hit enter. And now you have to pick a guess, so you want the cursor to be as close to where you think the root is as possible. So I'm just going to pop it up right there. That's pretty close to 0. Alright, and then I'm going to hit enter again, and it's going to calculate the root for me. Alright, so now y is 0, x is 0.74589 and change. Okay, so that's how you would calculate the roots. You could do that for each of these roots right here. Alright, so in addition to the roots, we could calculate the relative maximum, relative minimum points. You can see that we have a relative maximum right here and a relative minimum right there. Alright, so let's go back into the calc menu. No, okay, wait. Let's go back into the calc menu. Let's quit out of this. Now let's go back into the calc menu. The calculator gets finicky sometimes. And let's say I want to find the relative minimum here. Alright, so I'm going to tell it I want to find the relative minimum. Alright, and I have to do the same thing I did with the roots. I have to bound it. So that means I want to move the cursor down here so I'm to the left of the minimum and hit enter. And then I'm going to move the cursor over so I am to the right, it's a little too far, to the right of the minimum. Try and stay close to it. And then move your cursor over so that it looks like it's close to the minimum. And hit enter again. And it thinks for a little bit. And now it's sitting right at the relative minimum point, -2.15 for x and minus 4.07 rounded to 0.08 for y. Alright, so that's how you find relative minimums, relative maximums, and roots.